Students, in this video session, you will be learning basic principle of electromagnetic induction. And in this video, I'll explain introduction regarding electric flux and how electrical energy is being produced from mechanical energy. Let us start with electric flux. What's meant by electric flux? We already have learned electric flux pi E is equal to E dot A in electrostatics. This is learned in electrostatics. And we already have even discussed about Gauss law in electrostatics. It is pi equal to integration E dot dA is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. This is Gauss law in electrostatics. These equations we already have discussed. Similar to this, in magnetism, we will be learning magnetic flux, and magnetic flux is denoted with pi B. B denote that it is magnetic field. Magnetic flux is denoted with pi B, and magnetic flux is simply defined as the number of magnetic lines of force passing normally through given area. So through particular given area, how many number of magnetic field lines or magnetic force of lines are passing through is said to be magnetic flux. And when the surface of area capital A is placed in a uniform magnetic field induction B, the unit vector n cap makes an angle theta with direction of magnetic field. Then the flux passing through it is given by pi equal to B dot A, which is BA cos theta. Clearly, in this figure, you can see that this is area of cross section. This is area of cross section, and this is plane of the area. It is plane of area. And this vector, which is represented with red color arrow mark, it is unit vector of area. And in the figure, it is clearly noted the unit vector of area is always perpendicular to the plane of the area. Remember that. So if the plane is in this direction, unit vector will be like this. If the plane is in this direction, unit vector will be like this. If the plane is in this direction, unit vector will be perpendicular to that. So when we are dealing with unit vector, that vector should be always perpendicular to the area plane, irrespective of the shape. Here we are taking a circular loop, and this circular loop have area of cross section. For that, area vector is perpendicular. Likewise, you can take a square loop, you can take a rectangular loop, you can take any shaped loop. For that, area vector is always perpendicular to each plane. Now this is unit vector, and this unit vector A cap is making an angle theta with the magnetic field. This is magnetic field B, and area vector is in this direction. It is making an angle theta. I can now resolve this component. This area vector can be resolved into components, and that component I'll write it like this. This is one component, and this is perpendicular component. And this component which is in the direction of magnetic field is A cos theta. Right? A cos theta is parallel to magnetic field. That is the reason why the dot product of B bar and A bar is equal to B A cos theta, where A cos theta is the component of unit vector along the direction of magnetic field, or you can even call it as the projection of area vector along B. So simply you can tell that magnetic flux is the dot product of magnetic field with unit vector. And we can also define Gauss line magnetism. Gauss line magnetism is phi, which is equal to B dot ds. And Gauss line magnetism is already learned. Integration B dot ds is equal to 0. This is Gauss law in magnetism. Because in case of magnetic fields, we have two poles, north and south. Therefore, north and south poles compensate the effects of one another. As a result, net flux passing over will be equal to 0. Now, the SI unit of flux can be written as Weber, or CGS unit can be written as Maxwell. 1 Weber is equal to 1 Tesla meter square, or 1 Weber is equal to 10 power 8 Maxwell. And the dimensional formula of magnetic flux is ml square t power minus 2 A inverse, and the magnetic flux is a scalar quantity. It is scalar quantity. Now let us learn in detail how magnetic flux undergo change with respect to orientation of the coil in external magnetic field. So as I told you, area vector is always perpendicular to the plane of the area. Now, depending on the orientation of area vector in external magnetic field, magnetic flux phi b can be positive, magnetic flux phi b can be negative, magnetic flux phi b can be equal to 0. So because it is dot product, it can take positive value, it can take negative value, and it can take 0. B bar dot A bar. Right. Now let us check it here. We have a square lamina placed in external magnetic field. This is external magnetic field. And this square lamina is placed in magnetic field such that its area vector is parallel to magnetic field. So what is angle between these two? Angle between these two, theta is equal to, like, theta is equal to 0 between n cap and b cap. Therefore, I can write cos 0 is equal to 1. Cos 0 will be equal to 1 because theta is 0. So phi b is equal to b a into cos 1. Sorry, cos 0. Therefore, phi b is equal to b dot a, and this is maximum. So flux passing through area of cross section, if its plane is perpendicular to magnetic field and area vector is parallel to magnetic field. So you can clearly observe that plane is perpendicular to magnetic field and area vector is parallel to magnetic. Now let us discuss the second case. See here, this is plane. This is plane of the area. It is plane. Now this, for this plane, perpendicular will be area vector. This is area vector. It is 90 degrees. Magnetic field and area vector both are inclined by an angle of 90 degrees. Theta is equal to 90 degrees between A bar and B bar. Cos 90 is equal to 0. So as cos 90 is equal to 0, BA is equal to 0. Therefore, flux phi B is equal to 0. There will be no magnetic flux passing through area of cross section if it is parallel to magnetic field. Area vector will be perpendicular to magnetic field. Next, In the third case, area vector and magnetic field both are in the different directions. This is magnetic field B bar. And area vector and magnetic field both are inclined by an angle theta. Therefore, I can simply write magnetic flux phi B is equal to B A cos theta. I can resolve this vector into component. I can resolve this n cap into component, one component along this direction and the other component in this. This gives you A cos theta and this is A sin theta. Because of A sin theta, there will be no flux. But because of A cos theta, there will be flux, as theta is neither equal to 0 nor equal to 90. It's making an angle. Therefore, pi b is simply non-zero. Pi b is not equal to 0. Likewise, sometimes magnetic field and area vector may be opposite to each other. If A bar and B bar are opposite to each other. If both are opposite to each other, theta is equal to 180 degrees, cos 180 is equal to -1. Therefore, you can write pi b is equal to B A cos 180, which is equal to minus BA. Therefore, pi b is equal to minus B into A. Therefore, magnetic flux can be positive, can be negative, or can be 0. That is confirmed from this examples. Now, clearly you can understand from these 3 examples, when the coil is in external magnetic field and if the orientation of the coil is undergoing change, then the magnetic flux linked with that coil would undergo change. Okay, that's important conclusion which you should remember from these all activities. Noted that as whenever the coil is placed in external magnetic field, if its orientation is changed, if it is just rotated in external magnetic field, what would happen? The flux linked with that coil would undergo change. Therefore, delta pi, what is this delta pi called? Change in the flux. Change in the flux. Change in the flux is delta pi, which is equal to final flux minus initial flux. Delta pi can be equal to final flux is final angle. So that is B A into cos theta final minus B A cos theta initial, which is equal to B A into cos theta final minus cos theta initial. So whenever the coil is being rotated in external magnetic field, the flux linked with that coil would undergo change. If flux linked with that coil is changing, what are the effects we are going to? What are the effects happening here? If flux linked with that coil undergo change, what would happen? That's what we will be discussing in the next slide. So why the flux linked with the coil is changing? Because it is undergoing change. It can be rotated. Whenever it is rotated, flux is changing. Not only with rotation, if area of cross section is changing, flux change. So pi, as we know, written as pi delta pi not equal to 0 if delta b not equal to 0 and delta a not equal to 0 and cos theta not equal to 0. If any of these things are undergoing change, then simply flux change. So if flux is undergoing change, clearly there will be some effect called electromagnetic induction. Students, we have already seen that whenever the flux linked with the coil, it can be changed based on orientation of the coil in the magnetic field, or if we are able to change magnetic field, then also flux linked with that change. If area of cross section is undergoing change, flux linked with that will undergo change. Now here in this case, what we do, we will just take external magnetic field, and we are changing external magnetic field by moving the magnet with respect to the coil inside and outside, just like shown in the animation. In animation, clearly it is shown that when the magnet is coming closer to the coil, the flux linked with that coil would undergo change. When flux linked with the coil is undergoing change, there is deflection in the voltmeter and the bulb is blown. Likewise, when the magnet is brought out from the coil, there is a flux change linked with that coil. As a result, the voltage is developed in opposite direction. So voltmeter reading is towards the left side. As a result, again the bulb is undergoing glow. You can clearly see that in the animation. Now let us write down some mathematical equations concerned with this. See, we know that pi is equal to B dot A. If theta is equal to 0, you can write pi is equal to BA. Pi is equal to BA, right? If magnetic field is changed, what would happen? Pi will change. If magnetic field linked with the coil, like external magnetic field magnitude is undergoing change, the flux linked with the coil is undergoing change. When the flux linked with the coil is undergoing change, when the flux is undergoing change, what would happen? When the flux is undergoing change, it is that based on flux change, voltage is induced in the coil. Voltage is induced in the coil, and that voltage is simply said to be as electromotive force, EMF. Now clearly you can understand that if flux linked with the coil is changed more, then the voltage in that voltmeter recorded is increasing. If a flux linked with the coil is undergoing change less, then voltage linked with that coil would be less. Therefore, clearly you can understand EMF developed in the coil is directly proportional to change in the flux. Okay, and one more observation you can understand from this animation is, if you are bringing magnet closer to the coil, the voltmeter reading is deflected right side. If magnet is brought out from the coil, voltmeter deflection is towards the left side. So the effect produced when the magnet is brought closer and the effect produced when the magnet is brought out from the coil is not same. There is some change in the direction of EMF produced. Therefore, it to be noted that direction of EMF induced changes with motion of magnet. So direction of EMF induced changes with motion of the magnet, and clearly it can be understood that if magnet is brought closer, voltmeter it is deflected right side, vice versa. Therefore, EMF produced is directly proportional to minus delta pi, and that minus negative sign is due to Lenz law. And what is Lenz law? We will of course discuss in the next coming slides. This negative sign which is introduced here, it states that the direction of magnetic flux and the EMF induced, both are opposite to each other. That is negative sign represents over there. And if I remove this proportionality, I should include a constant, and that constant is some any value, like it can be EMF is equal to some minus K into delta pi. Usually K will be equal to 1. Therefore, EMF induced finally can be simply written as EMF is equal to minus of delta pi. How much flux change within the coil, that much amount of EMF is developed in the coil. Students, from the activity shown in the previous slide, you can clearly understand that whenever the magnetic flux is undergoing change, when the magnetic flux linked with an electric circuit coil changes, EMF is induced in the coil, and the induced EMF exists as long as change in the magnetic flux continues. As long as EMF in order to produce, you need to go on changing the magnetic flux linked with that coil. So that is Faraday's first law. And Faraday's second law gives the magnitude of EMF produced within the coil. And the second law states that the EMF produced, induced EMF produced in the coil is equal to negative rate of change of magnetic flux linked with it. It is E equal to minus d pi divided by dt. This is what we have got in the second law. First law just gives significance of change in the magnetic flux and EMF produced. Second law gives magnitude of EMF developed in the coil. Students, we already have discussed that EMF produced in the coil is equal to minus delta pi divided by delta t. This is average EMF produced in the coil, and EMF instantaneous. Instantaneous EMF is equal to minus d pi divided by dt, right? And if n turns are in the coil, you can write EMF induced is equal to minus d by dt of n pi if there are n number of turns. And everywhere we have included this negative sign. Here we have included the negative sign, and here we have included the negative sign. And this negative sign is the significance of Lenz's law. Now, what does Lenz's law states? Lenz's law states that the EMF produced within the coil is in such a way it opposes change in the magnetic flux. It opposes the change in the magnetic flux through the loop. So actually the EMF is being produced, but the produced EMF is in opposite direction to that of motion of the magnet. So therefore the EMF produced in the coil will be developed in such a way it is opposing the change in magnetic flux. That's what Lenz's law states. So if you try to increase the flux, through a loop, the induced field will be opposite to that of increase. That means, see, when magnet is brought closer, the EMF produced within this, see here, when you are bringing magnet closer, the magnetic field induced will be in such a way it is opposite to the motion of the magnet. Magnet is coming closer, the induced magnetic field is opposite to the magnet which is moving. Likewise, if you try to decrease the flux in the sense you are moving magnet away. So when you are moving magnet away, the be induced within this coil should oppose that. So as a result, the induced field will replace that decrease. So how much is being decreased, that much will be increased in case of the coil linked with it. Therefore, Lenz's law states that the magnetic field induced or the EMF induced within the coil is in such a way it opposes the change in magnetic flux. It only gives the significance of that negative side. Students, so far we have learned that whenever there is relative motion between coil and magnet, there will be induced EMF developed, and that induced EMF developed is equal to minus d pi divided by dt, and EMF and magnetic flux change both are opposite to each other, and as you know, EMF is voltage. In coil, right? So therefore, whenever there is voltage, V is equal to IR. So there will be some current produced over there. I is equal to V divided by R, right? And this V is called induced voltage, and I is called induced current. Induced current, and this induced current is equal to minus d pi divided by dt into 1 by capital R. This is equation for induced current, and unit of induced current, however, will be ampere. Now the direction of induced current due to motion of magnet can be obtained by these figures. You can just check it once. Now there is a south pole coming closer to this coil. This is a coil, circular coil, and you are bringing south pole closer to the coil. When you are bringing south pole closer to the coil, the induced current is in clockwise direction. This is in clockwise direction. Likewise, when you are bringing north pole outside, when you are bringing north pole outside, the induced current is also developed in clockwise direction. See here, south brought closer and south moving away. In the first case, south is brought closer. In the second case, just south is moving away. The effect produced by south coming closer and south moving away will be same. Similarly, the effect produced by north coming closer and north moving away will be same. But the effect produced by south coming closer and north coming closer are not same. They are different. Let me explain clearly. See, for example, in this first case here, south. This is south and this is north. Check it up. Arrow mark is here. This is the arrow mark. Suppose if the arrow mark is in this direction, then in such case we say that north is coming closer. Effect produced by north coming closer, south coming closer are not same. They are opposite to each other. Therefore, if you are taking south pole closer to the coil, let me take this is a coil, and you are taking south closer, then EMF induced current in this coil will be clockwise. Clockwise currents when south is brought closer, S stands for south. Likewise, you can take north pole and you just give arrow marks like this. If you are taking north pole closer, anti-clockwise current is induced. Therefore, remember that when you are bringing north closer to the coil, anti-clockwise current is produced. When you are bringing south closer to the coil, clockwise is produced. So that's how the direction of current can be decided. Either magnet south is brought closer or north is brought closer. And the third example is no induced current is produced if you are just rotating the coil by being in its own position. This is just rotation. This is rotation of magnet. Okay. The magnet is being rotated over there. So due to rotation of the magnet, there is no distance increased or distance decreased. Being in its own position, the magnet is rotated. Therefore, there is no EMF produced within this coil. So remember, for change in the magnetic flux, definitely there should be a relative motion between coil and magnet. If not, there will be no flux change. If there is no flux change, there is no EMF. If there is no EMF, then there will be no current produced in the circuit. So we have already seen that magnetic flux will be changed whenever there is change in the magnetic field. So as we know, pi changes, delta pi not equal to 0 when delta B not equal to 0. Right? As we know, magnetic field produced B is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi R due to straight current carrying conductor. Straight current carrying conductor. So if I changes, delta I not equal to 0, delta B not equal to 0. If delta B not equal to 0, delta pi not equal to 0, delta pi not equal to 0, EMF is induced. Therefore, if you are taking current carrying conductor, if I changes, the magnetic flux produced here will be changed. Therefore, the flux linked with delta pi not equal to 0. And current will be induced within this, and that current can be decided by right hand rule, Ampere right hand rule. Of course, I'll tell you how, in which direction induced current will be there. And in this case, there will be induced current delta EMF not equal to 0 and delta I induced not equal to 0. There is induced currents and as well as induced EMF when current linked with this straight current carrying conductor is changing. That's what we have seen in these examples. So the first example is that current in the conductor is constant. If delta I is equal to 0, current is not changing, then obviously delta B is equal to 0. If delta B is equal to 0, delta pi is equal to 0, delta pi is equal to 0, then it means that change in the EMF is 0. There is no EMF induced within the coil if there is no current produced or if there is constant current passing through and there is no induced current. And in the case B, you can see when current is when the current in the conductor is increasing or decreasing, either it can increase or it can decrease. What would happen? Delta I not equal to 0. Then the flux magnetic field related with that coil also would undergo change. Delta B not equal to 0. Delta B not equal to 0. Delta pi not equal to 0. And delta EMF is also not equal to 0. There is some induced fields. There is some induced magnetic field and also induced EMF developed over there. Induced current will also be there. So here I is undergoing change. Therefore, magnetic field is inside and this magnetic field inside would undergo change, right? So this is how magnetic field is produced. Sorry, outward. This is external. Because of that, clockwise current is developed. This is clockwise current developed over here. And because of that clockwise developed current, there will be induced magnetic fields produced in this case. So remember that when current carrying conductor is placed beside a closed loop in its plane, then the induced current direction induced current will be changed corresponding to the coil. This is one more effect where we can see induced EMF and induced fields are being developed due to change in the current.